Princess Leora stood on the balcony of the royal palace of Elithra. The sky was filled with soft purple clouds, and the twin suns were setting slowly. She looked out at the city, but her mind was far away. She remembered a face from long ago. A boy with dark eyes and a calm voice. Human boy who saved her life when she was just a child. No one believed her when she told the story. The guards said they found her alone after the attack. The royal advisors told her that the memory was a dream, but she remembered clearly. Her ship was attacked by space pirates. Fire was everywhere. Her guards were gone. She was crying, hiding in the dark corner of the ship. Then the boy came. He had no armor, no weapon, but he was brave. He took her hand and led her through the smoke. He carried her when she fell. He helped her reach the escape pod. When the door closed, he smiled at her and said, "You are safe now. I will come back when you need me again." Then the pod launched and she never saw him again. Now, many years had passed. Leora was no longer a child. She was about to become queen. But in her heart, she still waited for that boy. She searched records and old reports. She looked at every face in the galaxy's database, but she never found him. She did not know his name. It was just a shadow from the past, but she never forgot. A knock came at the door. Her friend and royal guard, Mia, stepped in. "The council is waiting," she said. Leora nodded and followed her through the palace halls. The rooms were full of gold and light. People bowed as she passed, but she did not feel strong. She felt alone. In the great hall, the council members stood in a circle. They spoke of peace treaties, of trade routes, of war on the edge of the empire. But Leora did not care about their words. Her thoughts were still with the boy. Later that night, after the meetings, she sat alone in her room. She held a small locket in her hand. Inside was a tiny picture of her younger self, and a symbol the boy had given her was a small badge with an old Earth symbol on it. She wore it always, hidden under her dress. She whispered to herself, "Where are you now? Do you remember me? Do you know I never forgot?" In the dark, her eyes closed. A soft wind came through the window. She made a promise to herself. She would not stop. She would find him. She would search every planet, every city, every place where humans lived. She believed he was still out there, waiting. In the silence, her heart beat with hope. She knew her people needed a strong queen. But before she could truly lead, she had to find the one person who once saved her without asking for anything. Far away, on a small planet called New Hope, a man named Luke woke from a dream. He had seen fire, stars, and a girl with silver eyes. He sat up, breathing fast. The dream had come again. He did not know why, but he always saw the same face, a face from long ago. He got up and walked outside. The night sky above New Hope was full of stars. He looked up and whispered, "Are you still out there?" The stars gave no answer, but something inside him stirred. Something old, something that would soon awaken again. And so, the journey was about to begin. The princess would search the stars, and the human who once saved her would face his past. Neither of them knew what was coming, but the stars were watching, and the old promise was still alive. Luke worked in a small repair yard on the colony world called New Hope. The air was dry, and the ground was full of dust. He fixed old machines, broken ships, and farming tools. Most people in the town knew him as the quiet man who worked hard and spoke little. No one asked about his past. He liked it that way. He lived in a small room behind the repair shop. He had no family, no close friends. But at night, when the stars came out, he often sat outside and looked at the sky. He had dreams he could not explain. In his dreams, he saw a girl with silver eyes. He saw fire and heard loud voices. He always woke up feeling like something important was missing. One morning, while fixing a transport engine, Luke heard a strange sound in the sky. He looked up and saw a large ship landing near the edge of the town. It was not like the usual trade ships. It was tall, shining, and marked with strange symbols. People in the town came out of their homes and watched. The ship opened, and a group of guards stepped out. They wore silver armor and carried long staffs. Then a woman stepped forward. She had long dark hair and silver eyes. Her face was calm, but her steps were strong. She looked around the town until her eyes met Luke's. Luke felt a cold wave pass through him. He did not know her, but something deep inside told him he had seen her before. She walked straight toward him. The crowd moved aside. People whispered. She stopped in front of him and said, "You saved me once. I came to return the honor." Luke blinked. The words made no sense. "I think you have the wrong person," he said. She smiled, but there was sadness in her eyes. "No, I remember your face. You saved me when I was a child. My name is Leora. I am the Princess of Elithra." People gasped. Some bowed. Others looked confused. Luke stood still. His mind was full of questions. Leora held out a small badge. It had the same symbol that Luke had kept in a box under his bed. He'd found it years ago in his old clothes, but he never remembered how he got it. He never told anyone. He looked at the badge, then at her. Memories began to rise like smoke. A burning ship. A crying girl. His younger self leading her through fire. "A promise made," he whispered. "I do remember." Leora nodded. "I need your help again. My world is in danger. The same pirates who attacked me are now growing stronger. They want the Elithra throne. I need someone I can trust." Luke looked around. The people were silent. The guards watched him. He was just a mechanic. He had not fought in years. He had left that part of his life behind. "Why me?" he asked. "Because you were brave when no one else was. Because you saved me without asking for anything. Because I believe you are meant for more than this." He looked down at his hands, rough from work. Then he looked back at her. Her eyes were full of hope. "I need time," he said. "Take the time you need," she said, "but know this. You are not forgotten. Not by me, not by fate." She turned and walked back to her ship. The crowd slowly returned to their homes. Luke stood alone in the dust. That night, he opened the old box under his bed. Inside was the badge, a small photo, and a broken piece of metal shaped like a star. He held them in his hands and closed his eyes. The dreams came again, but this time they were clearer. He saw the girl. He saw himself. He saw the moment he made the promise. The next morning, he stood outside the royal ship. Leora was waiting. He gave her a short nod. "I will help you," he said. She smiled. "Then let us begin." The doors of the ship closed behind them, and the journey to Elithra began again, with the stars watching above. The ship moved fast through space. Luke stood near a wide window and watched the stars pass by. Had never seen a ship like this before. Everything inside was clean, bright, and quiet. Guards walked through the halls, and royal workers kept busy. Princess Leora stood beside him. She looked calm, but he could feel the weight on her shoulders. She had not spoken much since they left New Hope. Now she turned to him. "We will reach Elithra in a few hours," she said. Luke nodded. "What should I expect? The court will not trust you," she said. "Many believe humans are weak. Some think I am foolish for coming to find you." "Why do you trust me?" he asked. "'Cause I remember what you did," she said. "You saved me when I was a helpless child, and I believe you can help us again." He looked back at the stars. "I am not a hero." "You do not need to be a hero," she said. "You only need to be yourself." When they arrived, Elithra was a world of light and color. Floating cities moved in the sky, and silver towers touched the clouds. The royal palace stood on a tall mountain. The ship landed on a wide platform, and guards formed a line to welcome the princess. As they walked through the palace, Luke saw people stop and stare. Some whispered, others frowned. He walked beside Leora, quiet and calm. Inside the court hall, the royal advisors stood waiting. They were dressed in fine robes, with sharp eyes and cold smiles. One of them stepped forward. "Princess, who is this man?" he asked. "This is Luke," she said. "He saved me years ago. I trust him. He will help us." Another advisor laughed. "A human from a lost colony? How can he help us?" Luke did not answer. "He only watched them." Leora raised her voice. "You speak of war, yet none of you know what war truly is. Luke has seen more than any of you. He will train our forces and lead them." The court was silent, and one of the younger officers stepped forward. "If the princess believes in him, I will follow." Some others nodded, but many looked unsure. The head advisor stepped back. "Very well. But do not forget, princess, if he fails, you will answer to the people." Later, Leora showed Luke the training fields. Soldiers stood in rows, but their movements were slow and weak. Luke watched for a long time. "They are not ready," he said. "Can you fix that?" she asked. "Yes," he said. "But they must listen. They must forget their pride." She nodded. "Then do what you must." For the next days, Luke trained the soldiers. He taught them how to move, how to fight, how to think, showed them how to work as one. Many failed, some gave up. But the ones who stayed became stronger. He was strict but fair. Slowly, the soldiers began to respect him. They saw how he moved, how he never got tired, how he always watched and listened. Leora visited the training field. She saw the soldiers moving in perfect lines. She smiled. "They are learning," she said. "They will be ready," Luke said. She looked at him. "Do you remember everything now?" "Not everything," he said. "But more each day. I remember the fire. Remember you crying. I remember the promise." She stepped closer. "Kept your promise." He looked away. "I almost didn't." Suddenly a soldier ran to them. "Princess, we have news. The pirate fleet has moved near our border. They plan to attack within days." Leora turned to Luke. "What should we do?" Luke looked at the stars above. Then he looked at the soldiers. "We fight. We fight smart. We do not face them head on. We strike where they are weak." She nodded. "Then you will lead." Luke felt a strange feeling inside. He had run from his past 4 years. But now, he was ready to face it. He said, "I will lead, but not as a soldier, as someone who remembers what it means to protect." The stars above Elithra burned bright, and in that moment, a new chapter began. The sun rose over Elithra, but the palace was not quiet. Soldiers moved quickly across the courtyards. Ships were being prepared. Everyone knew the war was close. Luke stood at the edge of the training field watching the fighters. He had given them new plans, new ways to fight. He taught them how to work in small groups, how to move fast and strike before the enemy could react. Princess Leora joined him. Her face was calm, but her eyes showed worry. "They are ready," Luke said. "Do you really believe that?" she asked. "They are stronger now," he said. "They trust each other. That matters." Leora looked at the horizon. "The pirates will attack the border city first. If they take it, they will move toward the capital. Then we cannot let them take it," Luke said. He gave orders for the best fighters to move to the border. They would hide near the mountains and wait. They would not fight a big battle. They would strike when the pirates were not ready. The next day, Luke and Leora flew with the soldiers to the border. The city was quiet. Families had left. Only a few guards remained. Luke placed his team across the hills and forests. He waited. That night, the pirate ships came. They were dark and fast. They landed outside the city, and the pirates began to move in. Luke watched from the trees. He gave the signal. Small blasts came from every side, and the pirates were hit before they knew what was happening. Smoke filled the air. Now the Elithran fighters moved fast, then disappeared into the shadows again. The pirates tried to fight back, but they could not see the enemy. One by one, their ships were damaged. Some tried to flee, but the sky was blocked by Elithran ships. Leora stayed close to the main group. She fought too, using a small blade and moving with speed. Luke saw her and remembered the little girl from years ago. Now she was strong and brave. The battle lasted all night. By morning, the pirate leader was captured. The rest had fled or were taken down. The people of the city returned slowly. They saw that their land was safe again. They cheered for the princess and her fighters. But many looked at Luke with wonder. A human had led the fight. Later, back at the palace, the court was silent when Leora entered. She stood in front of them with Luke beside her. "We defended our land," she said, "because we worked together, because one man gave us hope." Some advisors clapped. Others stayed quiet, but none spoke against her. Luke looked around. He was not sure if they truly accepted him, but it did not matter. He had done what he came to do. That night, Leora stood with him on the balcony. "There is something I need to tell you," she said. "What is it?" he asked. "Some in the court still want to control the throne. They are not happy that I brought you here. One of them gave information to the pirates. That is why they came so fast." Luke was silent. She said, "I do not know who it is yet, but I must be careful." "And what will you do now?" he asked. "I will not hide," she said. "We won a battle, but the war is not over. We must stay ready." Luke nodded. "I will stay, as long as you need me." The stars above them were quiet, but a storm was still coming. They both knew it. A few days later, a message came. One of the high advisors had sent a signal to an enemy group. He had betrayed Elithra. But before he could be arrested, he vanished. Leora called a meeting. She told the court about the betrayal. She looked at each face, then said, "This is not the end. More will come. But we will not run. We will not break." The court was silent, but some now looked at her with respect. Luke stood at the back of the room. He was not wearing armor. He was not a prince. But many looked at him with new eyes. Outside, the people of Elithra lit lights in the streets. They sang songs of the battle. They spoke of the human who fought beside their princess. And in the shadows beyond the stars, the enemies waited. But so did the defenders of Elithra, ready for what would come next. The great hall of Elithra was full. People from every city and village stood together. Soldiers, workers, and leaders filled the space. They had come to hear the princess speak. After the war, after the fight at the border, everyone wanted to know what would happen next. Luke stood to the side. He wore simple clothes. He did not want to stand in front. He never liked the crowd. But this time, many looked at him with respect. They whispered about him. Some called him the hidden warrior. Others called him the man from the stars. Princess Leora walked to the center of the hall. She wore no crown. Her face was calm. She looked at the crowd and spoke. "This is not a day for titles or power. This is a day to remember. Remember those we lost. We remember what we fought for. Remember what brought us together." She paused and looked around. Many of you know the story. Years ago, when I was a child, I was saved during a pirate attack. A stranger pulled me from fire and helped me escape. No one believed me. They said it was a dream, but I never forgot his face. I never forgot his words. She turned toward Luke. "I searched the stars for him, and I found him. He did not wear a crown. He did not command armies. He lived a quiet life. But he still carried that promise." Luke looked down. The hall was quiet. "This man saved me once," Leora said. "Not because he had to, not because he wanted reward. He did it because he believed that every life matters. When I asked for help again, he came without question." She stepped closer to him. "Luke, you did more than save me. You helped us save our world. You gave us strength when we were afraid. You showed us that courage has no name, no race, no rank." The people clapped. Some shouted his name. Luke felt his hand shake. He was not used to this. Leora raised her hand. "I offer him the title of Protector of Elithra. But more than that, I offer him a place by my side. Not as a leader, not as a knight, but as a friend, as the one who never gave up." Luke looked at her. For a moment, he remembered everything. The fire, the child, the promise. He took a deep breath and stepped forward. "I thank you," he said. "But I do not need a title. I did not come here to lead. I came because I remembered a promise. I will stay not for power, but to help keep peace. To stand with those who stand for what is right." The people clapped again. Leora smiled. After the speech, the court held a gathering. Food and music filled the halls. People came to speak with Luke. Some asked him about Earth. Others asked him how he fought so well. Later, Leora and Luke stood on the palace balcony. The stars above were bright. Ships moved quietly across the sky. "You could return to your world," Leora said. "Your life is your own." "This is my world now," Luke said. "I left Earth long ago. I want to help build something better here." She looked at him. "Then stay. Help us grow. Not as a fighter, but as a guide." He nodded. "I will." Below them, the people sang. Children played. Soldiers smiled. Peace had returned, for now. But beyond the stars, the galaxy still turned. New dangers would come. New choices would rise. Leora and Luke stood side by side, not as queen and protector, not as ruler and warrior, but as two people who had found each other again. Their journey had started in fire, but now it moved forward in light, and the stars above watched quietly as a new future began.